laced up.
Let's go!
It's time for Banter with the boys.
Welcome back to Banter with the Boys, Fast Slaps, the F1 movie review. Woo! Our first movie review at Banter with the Boys, and Fast Slaps has the honor of
Our first and
getting
last.
it on. Potentially the last one.
This may not go very well. We'll see.
Yeah. If you are new to us this week, welcome. If you're returning, you may see Kev on cam and on mic this week.
This is the man with the plan.
And also running the show from the desk. So,
Oh, yeah. Multitasking, folks.
We feel very blessed to have Kev on camera and on mic this week, as he also has seen the F1 movie. So
He did.
might as well just get it on. Wow. Here we go, Joe.
Pause.
You want to get it on next, I guess? Dave?
Yes. Hi, Joe, 6'2". I'm happy to be here. Yeah, this is crazy. It's a Saturday. Usually we're gathered on Tuesday nights after he's worked like 10 hours, and we've all worked multiple hours. But now we're kind of loopy.
Filled
a lot
with
of energy. A lot of energy. Yeah. I'm
Joe,
excited to talk.
did you have adult beverages during the movie?
No.
I
I'm
was
just like
okay.
this.
Sugary drinks, so he had
Just
some
like
sugary
this.
drinks.
Fair
enough.
Yeah, happy to be here, talk about movies.
And then obviously our other co-host for Fast Laps, Mike,
Hello, I'm here again.
is here
I'm
again.
excited to talk about the movie. I have lots of things to talk about.
Lots of things. So fun fact, Joe and Mike have literally just walked out of the movie like an hour ago.
True.
They have literally just watched it. Kev saw it late last night. I saw it about 2 hours before Kev. So we're all fresh.
It's fresh.
in the movie. Should we transition, Kev?
We certainly can.
Probably. Let's just throw one in there.
Yeah.
Transition. Here we go into F1 movie review.
Boom.
And to start our F1 movie review, do not just exit out right now if you do not want any spoilers. Come back to us though, please. But just shut it down right now because there will be spoilers in this next bit, plenty of. So anyway, before we get started, I have randomly purchased a Topps 2024 Topps Chrome blaster
Packs,
box.
boys.
So nothing, as we know, 2024 isn't crazy because it is literally all the drivers from last year. But look out for videos this fall because I've told Kev, and it's going to happen, I will be buying 2025 Topps Chrome hobby box or boxes to open on the show. So we're excited about that with, how many rookies we had this year? 5? Is it 5 in
like
F1
that, yeah.
this
Pretty
year?
close.
Yeah, I think so.
And so there could be some wild stuff in there, so that'll be exciting. So
This year's going to go crazy.
So everybody up here is about to open pack. Let's just do it at one time.
All right.
Open it right now?
Yeah, just do it. Just try to open it right
At
now.
the same time,
Hold on,
Smeltzy, or
movie
we're doing one
review.
at a time to see what we get?
He's opened it. It's
No,
open.
it's
ripping
already
it?
gone.
All right, here we go.
It's already gone. Just see what you got in there. See if there's anything crazy.
Future stars.
For the record, most people on this show here have not ripped cards open.
I knew I smelled Dutch in here.
I smell Dutch in here.
I got Senna. That's kind of crazy.
There's a
I
Max
think.
Verstappen for.
Hey, there's an Alpine for you.
I got
Whatever,
a Martinez Stenz horn.
Oh,
And
speaking
I
of
got
rookies,
Buddy? Oh, there's Fernando.
My favorite rookie.
got a Gabby Bortoletto. Future
Oh,
stars.
nice. That's actually super cool.
That's actually
Oh my
cool.
god.
Hang on.
I also got a Gabby Bortoletto.
Wow.
Oh, there
Oh,
you
yeah,
go.
look at that.
In
I think
the
I got
Sheffield
like a
there.
super fancy foil one too.
Hold
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the camera, Mike.
Yep.
Show the camera there. It's kind of hard to see, obviously,
Oh,
but you
yeah.
kind of get a little
With
bit of a
all
glimpse
of
of
the
it.
foiling on it.
Oh, hold on a minute. We got to pause the show for a quick second and give this over to Smeltzy here. Joe, you want to pass it to our good friend Ty?
Oh, do we got a Gasly here?
We do got a Gasly. Look at Gasly.
what a great
Up
shot,
close and personal.
too.
What a cool card.
Yeah, helmet collection too. Oh, that's awesome. I don't have one of those yet, so
got
actually,
sleeves
I'm
and
kind of
top loaders
excited
for you.
about that. There's a sweet Nico Hulkenberg 1954 for you.
That's actually awesome.
Yeah, you can keep that.
Love Nico Hulkenberg. That's my boy.
Yeah, I did
Here,
not
you
pull
can-
anything else too
You
crazy.
can give this one to Joe. He'll want this one.
Who is? Oh, Joe, your favorite driver, Grand Prix driver of the day, Belgian Grand Prix 2023, Max Verstappen.
Wow, where's your shirt?
That can go with your shirt. Yeah.
Put your shirt on.
Yeah.
You can get that framed like a Flavor
This can
Flav
go-
necklace.
we
Put
can
that
give this to
on.
Mike. This can literally go with what he's wearing right now.
Oh, look, K-Med
Yes.
car shot. Love those pics.
Yeah, the Kevin
What
Sonata
else
got
did you
the
grab
hat,
over
the
there,
shirt,
Kev?
and
We got a
the
Lando shot.
Lando
very
Norris.
nice.
Yep.
Okay.
Lando Norris. We got the Gabby Bortoletto Future Stars.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
Still a
actually.
sweet looking card.
Yeah.
We got an F2 Future Stars of Maria Marti. for F2.
Oh, okay.
And then we got our Charles Leclerc. Oh,
Is that a
throwing
driver
it
of the
around.
day card?
It is a driver of the day card.
Okay.
Driver of the day Formula One Las Vegas Grand Prix 2023.
I also grabbed a few. Looks like I have a Future Stars Kimmy in here, which is pretty cool. as
Oh,
well
wow.
for F1.
Nice. There we go.
That's pretty nice. Just base card, nothing crazy.
Hey.
But I think the Gabby's base too. But we got two current drivers
got a-
That's pretty
in
sweet.
their F2 cards for Future Stars.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it
you know,
is the
since this
F2
is
edition
last
as
year's
well.
cards. So
That's sweet. That was a fun little
Sweet.
bit here for the episode.
Yeah, just random little poll.
Yeah.
What you
I
got,
got
Joe?
both the kicks
Oh,
out.
I
Other
got
than your
this.
favorite driver.
I got Max. I got a Tommy Smith F3. I got a Martinez Stenshorn F3, and then I got a Legends Ayrton Senna card.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty sweet.
Sweet. Feel free to keep whatever you pulled, Joe.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Same with Kev.
I just maybe.
Max
He's
Verstappen.
into it now. He's gonna get into it.
Yep.
I'm telling you, you guys will really enjoy when we pull that 2025 hobby
Oh,
box.
I'm
Hopefully,
itching.
we can get our hands on some.
We certainly can.
Because I feel like this is going to be a tougher year to get your hands on some. But
Well, because there's so many more rookies this season. I
For
think
sure,
that's the
for
biggest
sure.
thing. Obviously, you go for sports cards, you go for the
For
rookies.
sure.
I think it's
So-
going to be a big hit.
100%. I can't wait. Well, so since we're here for the F1 movie now to get into this, sorry to sidebar there with everybody up here, but what I want to know is your first reaction to the movie using a maximum of 5 words. Maximum of 5 words. Who wants to go first?
I can go first.
Go, do it.
So mine is 4 words. The music was awesome.
The music was awesome.
Oh, that is a
the
good point.
soundtrack
Yes.
was great.
Hans
So-
Zimmer, if I'm.
Hans Zimmer.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I went to
Of
school
course.
for music production, audio engineering, hence why I do all this stuff in the background. I was very, very keen to the music that they played in it, and I thought just overall the score was fantastic, and just like
The timing
actual-
of the score.
Yes, the music that they played in it was really good, but also I think the big thing was kind of fun that they didn't even really broadcast was the Ed Sheeran song in the credits, which was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
So they played it, of course, like on like TV or whatever, after, not the TV, but like on the screen after in the credits, but they didn't like announce that, hey, Ed Sheeran's making a song for this movie until after it came out, which that I think is just kind of a little, I guess, egg of wonderfulness at the end of the movie.
Right.
Which is kind of cool.
No,
Because they could have
awesome.
previewed that and like broadcast and advertised that pretty heavily. Like Ed Sheeran's making a song for the movie. You got to go check it out. Well, they didn't say a word from my understanding until you saw it. So that's
Sweet.
pretty cool.
Okay.
But the music did its part in my mind.
Yeah. No,
The music,
awesome.
Music was good.
No, I'm glad we got your take on that because audio guy. So makes
me.
sense.
You got to fit the bill.
Do you like the sound design just in general as well?
What's that?
Just like the sound design, like
It was cool. Yeah, and we went to like the big fancy movie theaters, whatever. So you definitely have like the surround sound and stuff like that. And I thought a lot of our transition is the and it goes across
Yeah.
the screen there, the audio.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of like different kind of surrounding audio bits in there, and I thought it was just really solid overall. But yeah, Hans Zimmer was just a
Yeah,
gangster in this
yeah,
one.
he's good.
He didn't disappoint by any
He's good
means.
that one.
Yep.
That one is good.
Yes. So no, it was overall it was a really good movie. I think it was fantastic. But
Awesome.
Joe, what do you got?
Oh man, to me, I don't know. I feel like I kind of want to go last.
Ooh,
You can go last. All right. Hey, nobody's requested to go last yet, so
I can
you're
go.
last.
That's
Go,
okay.
Mike.
Yeah. So
Hit it up.
I got 4 words. Actually fun, surprisingly consistent.
All right.
I was pleasantly surprised.
Surprisingly consistent.
Surprisingly consistent
in-
with F1, with what we
Okay,
would expect
all
to
right.
see out of F1.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I was expecting to see more like I just watched the Gran Turismo movie not too long ago,
Also
and I
great.
was just so tired of being like, okay, yeah, it's another buzzer beater. Yeah, we win by less than a tenth of every single race, and that just wasn't the case in this movie, and I really liked that. So, and there were also other things, but like we'll get into some more of that stuff, I assume.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, for sure. Just a
nitpicks that
minute.
we can do.
Yeah, for sure. So since Joe's going last, for me,
Drum roll.
I also have like 4 words, I think, and just like it was very Hollywood. You know.
Yeah,
It was very Hollywood.
I'm not like hating the movie. Like, will I buy it when it comes out on Blu-ray? Yeah, when it goes on sale, probably to add it to my Blu-ray
Like next week?
collection. Yeah, right, for sure.
straight to DVD.
But it's it was a great movie. There's a lot of Hollywood bits in it, a lot of good, like you said, consistent F1 bits in it, and we'll touch on all those. And then a lot of stuff that made me go, I don't know. So. Yeah. Anyway, Joe, wrap us up here.
Yeah, I'm using all 5 words, and I pretty much mimic. I think everyone here. Fun and only slightly frustrating is my five.
And only
Slightly frustrating.
Okay,
5 words.
sorry.
It's
Yeah.
just a lot of
That's five.
syllables.
Yeah, just a lot
right.
of syllables, but still
That's
5
a
words.
lot of noise.
Your Honor, 5 words. Yeah,
No, for sure.
I think, yeah, I mean, it was, I think exactly, it's meant for people who aren't like maybe super deep into it. But
Yep.
like, there are some call outs, like they did a really good job in some areas, I think.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't like, if someone lived and breathed F1, I could see why they might like not find it as interesting. But I think for a movie for the masses, I thought it was fun.
I think it could make for a good, like, for lack of a better word, gateway drug into Formula One for a lot of new fans.
Yeah?
A
I was
lot
thinking
of
the
Yeah,
same
the
thing.
GTS effect kind of.
yeah, because like I
100%.
know my a friend of
Might get the wrong
mine.
idea though.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's some points
Yes.
that I could, yeah.
But like I've got a friend of mine who he has no interest in Formula One, and I was talking to him about the movie, and he's like, oh, it's got Brad Pitt. It's made by the guy who made Maverick Top Gun. It's got Hans Zimmer. He's like, this would probably be a good movie. I might actually go watch this. And like it could be like his introduction and be like, wow, F1's kind of cool. Maybe I'll catch a weekend or something, And like, I think it's a good movie for that.
For sure.
I also think it's smart that they released the movie on a race weekend as well.
Yeah.
Just really trying to like get after it. Like, oh, I just went and saw the movie because technically I think it came out on like Wednesday for like the early super duper early screenings. And then
Yep.
Thursday was kind of like the pre-screenings. And then now like Friday is when it actually came out.
Real release.
Yep. It's like this morning, everyone's like the movie. You might have seen the movie yesterday, and now qualifying is on at 9 a.m.
Yep.
10 a.m., whatever time it was, maybe noon or whatever. I think it's definitely a good opportunity for like a gateway drug. Like my wife, she went with me as well yesterday. She's not an F1 person, but she actually enjoyed it. She's like, I'm not like a car person, but it was kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
I'm like,
For sure.
That's cool. And
For
coming
sure.
from her, she doesn't care.
Yeah.
So like that was her bit. Shout out to my wife Erica who supports the show. Her thing was Brad Pitt still got it. He's still hot. That's the only thing she really cared about. But the fact that she was cool to watch the movie on top of that was good.
Yeah, hold on. We'll get into that in a minute. Funny enough, I got something to tie into that.
Did I just spoil something? I'm sorry.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Spoilers.
So I think so. We're not going to make this show super long, right? We're going to get you guys out of here, but we want to fill your brain with our knowledge on the F1 movie as fast as possible. But I think let's start with anything you disliked first. We'll end it with the like because I think generally. Are we in a general consensus? It wasn't bad, right? Like
I actually really
it was a
liked
good
it.
watch.
Yeah,
100%.
Worth the money of admission at a theater. All right.
Yeah.
So so let's
it's not
start with
cheap anymore.
dislikes first. If there's anything somebody needs to get off their chest immediately, I get that.
I got one.
These two are staring at each other. We're
I
gonna
got
let
one
them
fast
go.
one. It was so funny because we were sitting next to each other. My roommate was also there with us, and we're watching. And it was at the end at Abu Dhabi, and Alex Pierce was in front of Lewis Hamilton, right? And they showed us an overhead shot of Lewis coming up on Alex with his DRS open, and I was like.
Joshua Pierce.
Or Joshua Pierce.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, it's
I was
Joshua
like,
Pierce. Yeah, because
yeah.
it's JP. Yeah. I don't know why I kept on
We've
thinking
only
his name
known
was
him
Alex.
for 24
Sorry,
hours.
This is true. You guys have known him for like 3 minutes.
Yeah,
so.
maybe I'm just so excited. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Joshua Pierce. Yeah, so Joshua Pierce's DRS was open when Lewis was behind him, and Joshua Pierce was in first. So the moment we saw that overhead shot, Joe and I looked at each other like, Did you see? You saw that? Yeah. Okay. And my roommate like noticed our gesture. He's like, "What?" And I like leaned over. I was like, "Josh's DRS was open when he's in first." So that was one thing that like I feel like most people wouldn't notice that unless you're
For sure.
like avidly in the sport. So
Well, and then like Joe mentioned earlier, unless you're like a really into racing in general, but then F1 more specifically,
Yeah.
like there's gonna be things that just didn't feel right to you. Like for me, it was Apex GP, the team,
Yep.
essentially almost feeling like they never got penalized for any of the stuff they were pulling. So they did once, but they never. It seemed like they didn't really make a big deal of it. They just started from the back.
they always were starting towards the back. So I guess you could make some argument saying that the reason why they were always in the back was because they were getting grid place penalties for
They just never
for penalties that they
just
had.
never like made a mention of
Yeah.
it. Like, hey,
We never
Brad-
did see
Brad
qualifying.
Pitt or Sonny.
Yeah.
Which is true. We did never see qualifying,
That
but
was one of my quarrels I was going to mention was we never saw practice or quali.
Yep.
That was one of the things I was going to mention. But
for sure. Well, we did see a practice lap by Sonny
in the very
crashing
in the very beginning,
and crashing and then still
Yeah.
getting the job in F1, which is another one of my things. It's
Yeah.
like how realistic would it actually be that a team is going to pull a driver into F1 that hasn't raced an F1 car in 3 decades, is what they said. So in 30 years, he hasn't raced an F1 car, and like, we got 9 races left.
Come on.
But I get the storyline of like, that's like they're desperate. They need some sort of spark, right? So I get that, but
I think actually that's not too unbelievable because when you think about it, Kimi Antonelli's first FP1 practice, he crashed.
sure.
So, and that was when he was out testing with the
But Kimi
Mercedes.
hasn't not been in an F1 car in 3 decades.
Well,
I guess that was
sure,
more-
I think
but
he's
it's
alive
still
for
like,
3 decades,
like
so.
new to the seat, new like
Sure, for
basically
sure, for
fresh.
sure.
Yeah.
Like at a certain point, you're like, yeah, he crashed, but he was fast.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
So I guess I can kind of overlook that a little bit.
Fair enough. Joe,
yeah, my
before I
biggest-
just keep
no, you're good, you're good.
because I only got a couple more.
I got you. No, yeah, my biggest issue was pretty much mimics what your issue was. I didn't love the arc of the pretty much the first act was, or the second act-ish was just Sonny Hayes being a menace like on the grid, and that's how
Being
they got
Kevin
ahead.
Magnussen?
I'm really happy that they didn't do that throughout the entire movie, because it would just be like, oh, so it just kind of feels like a joke, right? Like you
Right.
can go
Little
out,
bit.
mess everyone up, and then get away scot-free. I didn't love that there were you're right, there were not very many consequences seen until
We just
later
didn't see it.
later in the
Yeah.
movie when like there was an FIA representative and they were like what do you mean, like you cause trouble all the time, right? So like it was nice seeing that there are a little bit of repercussions, but we didn't see it in the moment, so it just felt like, oh, like anyone can just kind of do this. It's like very much like dramatized Hollywood.
Yep.
For sure.
And like immediately I was like, oh, he'd get a black flag on that first race. There's just no way they'd let him keep
Right.
racing. Like he's consistently crashing. Yeah, it's so that was like my biggest gripe. But I think in the overarching story of the movie, I think I probably like his like the character, he's like the gambling type, he kind of like takes these like really big risks and has like a
Which is how he
grander
raced
plan.
throughout the movie.
He's like Ocean's 11ing his own race a
I was
little
gonna
bit.
bring that up. So like, it's so funny,
Yeah.
weird. He's back in Vegas again.
Yeah.
He's got a gambling problem.
Yeah,
Like,
no, so like I
funny
guess
how
like
that
to
works.
his story, it like okay, sure, but like the consequences would have been so severe in real life, so I'll just kind of like move it off, I guess. But I think that was like the biggest issue I had was just like I was watching the movie and I'm like this is like it's like fun to see this, I guess, but like so many consequences from this would come up, right?
And I agree with you. I think it is a gateway drug, essentially. So that is
Right.
my only concern with it being a gateway drug is now they go
People
watch
will
an actual
expect it.
F1 race and be like,
wait, why did he
there's
just
no
crash?
carnage!
Like they're gonna watch like a race like Japan this year and they're gonna be like, I just watched 2 hours of nothing, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
My thing with like the crashing that I had thought when all of that was happening was not so much like, oh well, where are the black flags? How are the FIA letting that happen? I was like, isn't Apex about to go broke? How can they afford this many wins? Like
Right.
they can't afford this much damage. Like they can't just be letting him go out and trash tires and trash wins and like I'm like that doesn't seem right. Those wins are expensive.
Yeah.
Well, they showed the guy, like, was it?
So it was 3,000 pounds per wing or 2,000 pounds?
200,000.
They said something.
I think he said, was it 200,000? I thought what the guy
I
said.
think what I've heard is
Probably
that
like
wins,
200,000?
Yeah, probably.
wins are like $150,000,
Which is insanity.
a wing, just for the front wing. Yeah.
But, and to your
But you
point,
can
though,
buy
they
a
did some-
crashed one for like $1,000 from F1 Authentics.
You can. You certainly can. Which
So
is cool.
they
you're
don't
getting a
need-
deal.
That's a
They don't
huge
need the
bargain.
crashed ones anymore, so
Yeah, right. No, that's why they sell them. That's why there's that side pod that you keep sending me
Dude.
for.
Go get it. I don't remember who it is.
What were they
but-
called before Alpine?
Renault.
What? No, before that even.
BWT.
BWT.
Lotus?
Yeah, it was BWT.
Yeah, there's a side pod in the
Force
marketplace.
One.
Yeah, India Force.
India
or
Force.
Oh,
whatever.
you're talking
Force One.
no, Force One. It went Force One into Alpha or into Aston Martin.
Yeah, but BWT
Alpine-
was
But it was-
BWT was
it was a
Force
pink
One.
car,
India.
either way.
BWT, yeah,
Either way.
BWT
Getting sidetracked.
was
Either way.
for
Either way.
Aston Martin's whole team. Yeah.
Kev, do you got any?
Force India, yeah.
Do you
Yeah,
got
Force
any
India.
dislikes, Kev?
The main one was just like no qualifying.
Yeah,
like
sure. You
quality
like
has
to
such a
see the-
huge impact
Yeah.
on the race weekend.
It's literally almost a time trial. You know, they're
Exactly
sending it.
and especially if Sonny is trying to kind of prove his I guess ability still
Worth,
to do
ability,
it. Yeah,
ability.
his worth or his ability to still make it in the sport, and then obviously with JP trying to be able to still drive and be able to compare against him.
I love that you
They
just calling him JP too.
That's pretty sweet. Yeah, I gave everybody a nickname, so it's pretty cool to me. But yeah, they just didn't show any practice or any qualifying at all, which I thought was a really big miss in my opinion. Like, yes, okay, cool. Wait a minute. The first race weekend, you guys are both in dead last. Okay, got it. Next one. Still last. What did we miss?
How are we
getting
here?
there?
Yeah.
Right?
For sure. Just a little bit more explanation, whether it's penalties or
just
sucking at qualifying.
I think it's just bad
Car
performance,
sucking
but
until these magic what's the floor the
little
what did they call them?
fins or whatever.
Side pods?
No.
Underbody?
No.
The floor?
Floor something. They call
Sure.
them the floor something. But
Yeah.
until those
Ground
came on the
effects?
car.
Yeah.
Well, my
ground
thing
effects.
too-
Right. Something I can't remember. Whatever.
My thing too for the qualifying though is that if you're gonna do such a terrible job in qualifying and end up dead last in the race to start it, how are you gonna then just go and finish in like top 10 or whatever in the race? Just like with you didn't change anything from the qualifying in theory to the
So
race.
then we can assume it's penalties that put them back
yes.
there, right? So
There's a way to kind
but
of get there, but it's just weird.
But
to
you
me.
have to come up with that yourself.
Yep.
In order to like
Yeah.
convince yourself that they're starting in the back because of this or whatever.
So I've got a question based on that. Can we take 2 seconds?
Yeah.
The movie was 2.5 hours.
Was it really?
Was it really?
Yeah.
Yes. The little screen outside of the theater said 2 hours 35 or 2 hours 30 minutes runtime.
Didn't feel long.
And it didn't feel that long at all, for sure. But like once you realize that you get out of the theater at 1:15, it's kind of a late movie. But
Yep.
Yeah.
do you guys think it was appropriately lengthed, or the
yes.
appropriate length, or do you think it could have been or should have been longer in the efforts to maybe show some practice or quality?
It's the length of an F1 race. You know,
That's
And you're not
actually
wrong.
That's actually a good point.
That's probably why they.
Bronner, he cooked.
That's I was not gonna make that argument, but
got it.
that's a good point.
Nope, you're
I
right.
think it's perfectly. The length is fine. I'm
Okay.
cool with it.
Isn't a
I don't think it
F1
should
race
be
an hour and a
shorter. I
half?
don't think it should be longer.
No, I think it's supposed to
Depends.
be
It's
around
about 2 hours is the average.
2 hours
for
ish,
mine.
yeah,
So it's
okay.
probably not 2.5 hours.
No,
but,
that's good.
Like I don't know.
Still close though. Either way, for me, I wouldn't have minded it to be a little bit longer if you threw in some of that a little bit more technical stuff with like the practice or the qualifying.
But do you think the general fan using it as a gateway drug would enjoy that?
Probably
You know
not,
what I mean?
no. I think they should have had at least 1 or 2 qualifying shootouts. Just show the qualifying
The
happening.
process.
Yeah.
Show the process.
Like we don't need
Yeah.
to see all of free practice or anything like that. That's pretty dry
sure.
anyways. But like at least seeing like qualifying and show like that tension of like, oh, we need to go out there. We really need to put up a good time. Crap, we didn't
Yep.
do it. We're starting from the back of the grid.
Right.
Or like the
Like-
tire strategy for qualifying or
Yes.
whatever. Like there's a lot of strategy in
Which
the movie.
came into play in the movie, right?
That's what I'm saying.
That was something that they brought up. Is like they should have showed us at least qualifying for Abu Dhabi, because that would have been like a nice little like sowing the seeds for that last scene where it's like,
Yes.
oh, the safety car happened. We've got an extra pair of softs that the front runners don't.
Yeah.
So
They kind of just tossed that in.
they just kind of tossed it in, which was a cool. I liked
Yeah.
that a lot. I
Yep.
was like, this is. Like that is a real strategy. We saw it from Charles Leclerc in Monaco.
Yeah.
So
Until JP took out Lewis.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
But-
a little awkward. But
Yeah.
Oh well. And then gets up and like, didn't even play it off that it could have been an accident. You know, I mean, it's just.
Well, I think it was an accident. He's just happy that one of them are winning.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think. I did have the thought of like, we're not seeing any qualifying.
Yeah.
I don't know if it bothered me per se. I think it would have been nice to you're right, see at least one qualifying, or just have somebody say we're not qualifying in these races, so we have to do the work in the race. Like
Yeah.
even that line alone
Would have
some
cleared
shit
that up.
would have like immediately
Yeah.
been okay with me.
Yep. They even like brought up and like, yeah, we didn't do great in
Exactly.
qualifying, or whatever the issue was, or a penalty in qualifying, whatever.
Right.
This is where we start. It's like
I
a
think
little
they
something.
They just wanted like as much wheel to wheel as they could get, which is
Yeah.
it's just
the Hollywood.
It's Hollywood,
Hollywood.
right? But in terms of length, I'm very happy. I don't think it should have been any longer.
Sure.
I'm surprised it was 2.5 hours because it felt like it went by pretty well.
Yeah.
It paced very well.
It did.
I usually have issues with movies pacing, and I don't think this paced poorly.
Yeah,
so.
no, it's just stayed on track the whole
Yep.
time. Like there was never a moment where I was like, "This is dull right now." Like, but again, we're racing fans, so
Yeah.
we're like, we want to know everything that's in between, you know.
Right.
And it didn't play too heavy into the frickin' love story, which I was a little bit worried about. For any of you that are possibly
Yeah.
war fans out there, you guys are not. But there's this movie called Pearl Harbor that came out in 2001.
Oh, yeah.
and they played way too heavy into the love story for me than the actual event. So I was a little worried that could get caught up, and it really didn't. There was just
Yeah.
enough, and then they both got it in at one point anyway.
Yep.
But the night before race is wild. Like, but
There's studies behind you. You shouldn't do that, from my understanding.
You did remind me of one thing that I did spot while I was watching the movie in Las Vegas the night before the race. The drivers were out drinking.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to do
Yeah,
that.
right.
That's
That's
against protocol. I saw it. I was like, why are you guys?
Well,
out
was he
drinking?
actually
He
drinking
was
though?
drinking a Heineken, and it could have been a 0.0.
They are huge
Okay.
in the zero Heinekens, so
look
that is
at you.
possible.
Okay,
Oh.
fair.
Yep.
I mean,
Backing
it's
up
just one of those
Sonny.
things, though. But like, and the manager
Oh, but
was
you're
telling
right. They were
JP,
drinking
he's like,
tequila
he's
at
like,
at the.
also, yeah,
That's right, 'cause she was
the
like,
technical engineer
tequila.
made a comment about drinking tequila is a bad idea.
Yep.
JP and his manager went out to a dance club, whatever, right?
Yep.
Where the manager was very clearly drinking. The manager can drink; he's not driving.
But he was
like,
gonna offer JP the drink. For
he
sure,
was, yeah.
100%.
It was like, it's
Yeah,
like, why would
good
you as a
point.
manager
Oh, my
put
bad.
your
Didn't mean to
driver
touch
into
you,
that
Joe.
position? I was like sitting here seeing this, like, you're not supposed to be drinking right now.
You know,
because of his
honestly,
image.
I'm gonna take your license.
If
It's
that's
his
the
image.
biggest thing you had an issue, I'm not saying it is the biggest thing, but
Yeah.
if that's the thing you had an issue with, pretty decent.
Pretty
movie,
decent,
I would
yeah,
say.
you're right, yeah.
Because
You're
that
totally
seems
right.
so
He shouldn't have
incredibly
been
nitpicky.
drinking.
And
So-
you're, hey, he's not supposed to be
No,
drinking right
alcohol
now.
bad.
No.
So that leads me into. Oh, go.
I was just gonna one last thing.
Yeah.
The qualifying bit. You're right. We know that they're not qualifying well because they're so far back because we have that insider baseball knowledge.
Yeah.
The normal person, you're right. They might not understand.
Yeah.
Why are they always starting in the back?
Yep.
So that's. I just want to give you that point as well.
Yeah.
You're totally right.
I'll put that in the bank there. Joe gave me a point.
I got him. Yeah.
I just had two small. I mean, and again, these are really small dislikes. Not a big deal.
Go for it.
So you mentioned Brad Pitt already.
Oh boy.
So
And the show's over. Thanks, guys.
yeah. No. And I don't hate Brad Pitt. He did a great job, I think.
so.
I think, you know, he did a pretty good job representing this character. But the dude is 61. And now don't get me wrong, he looked like 51. Let's be real. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, he don't really look like he's in his 60s, you know? But like the oldest driver to ever win an F1 race was 53 years old. So that bugs me.
Pushing the limits there on that.
As again, like as a, you know what I mean? It just bugged me a little bit. And I didn't know that off the top of my freaking head. I went and looked that up last night. Because I was curious. After I found out Brad Pitt was 61, I was like, A, I didn't think he was that old. But B, I was like, okay,
Same.
so that just bugs me a little bit. But it's not, again, him looking 51. He probably looked just like that guy.
To your defense too, they literally said that he crashed, like his big crash with Ayrton Senna was in 1993.
Right.
And so he had to have been like what? Let's say he was young at the time.
He's in his 20s.
He was 20. Let's just say he was 20 at the time of that crash. This is happening in 2022, 2023, somewhere in that time frame. That means there's a 30-year gap between when he crashed. He's in his mid 50s.
In his 50s, yeah.
He's in his mid 50s
the
driving.
character's in his
I'm like, not
mid-50s,
even
yeah, sure.
Alonso's that old.
right. And Alonso comes up and fist bumps him. And that
I love
interview.
Just
that.
catching
That was so
strays
dope.
right now, though. Poor guy.
Yeah, no, and I'm not
Hey,
hating
he's
on
my
him. I'm not
favorite
hating on him.
rookie,
He
okay?
did a great job. And then there's only one other thing that's kind of funny: the whole combat chant thing where they started.
that was
Oh, yeah.
stupid.
And that
Yeah,
was
that
dumb.
was stupid.
I
That was
thought
bad.
that was lame as a
Yeah.
AF.
Super cheesy.
Like,
That was stupid.
I,
I get-
they wouldn't do this.
I get the point behind it because it's like that's the Hollywood thing, though.
I know. But then like everybody in the team room and then back at like HQ or
HQ,
whatever, and
yeah.
like everybody, I'm like,
And then JP's just like, really though? Are we really doing this?
I feel like the technicians back in England would be looking like just grimacing like, oh, this is kind of
cringy.
cringe, right?
Yep.
I would think so. So anyway, that was
Please
my
stop
only
this.
small squabble. So again, if that's what it is, pretty good movie.
Yeah.
But
I had one other little point.
Oh, there's cards in there. I was like, I thought it was empty.
I thought it was kind of comical that Lewis Hamilton produced the movie and he was in first at the end. That was just like,
Oh.
not that it makes a big difference. And like the only way that Lewis didn't win was being taken out by a rookie. I thought it was just kind of a funny.
Oh, man.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not looking too much into it, but I just thought it was kind
Yeah.
of comical in that sense.
I don't think I don't think he had any. I don't think he probably had any say over it. Like they probably had him fighting that battle because it was reminiscent of his title fight with Max Verstappen.
Sure.
What's the point that I was going to say? Oh, I dislike the trope that I'm seeing a lot where it's like, oh, they lost this race or like they had the opportunity to win this race because someone else crashed. I'm seeing it all the time in these like kind of F1 shorts or like you guys haven't played this and I don't know if you will, but in and this is a spoiler for the F1 25 game now.
Spoiler.
But
Dang
it
it.
happened a couple of times in the latest breaking point installation where someone crashed and other people got an opportunity. It's like, okay, so we're just kind of banking on people crashing at that point. So I kind of feel you there. Get anything good?
No.
Okay.
Smeltzy's over here ripping more packs. For
I
the
just
record.
opened the last two real quick.
He's got a couple more in his-
Nothing
I-
crazy.
I
Back
did
there.
when I was watching that the last race in Abu Dhabi. I was watching. I was like, oh, a red flag in Abu Dhabi and a shootout for the last couple laps with Lewis Hamilton in second. Boy, this feels very reminiscent. I'm like, this is almost eerily reminiscent.
You know, and another thing, actually, while I'm on this kind of rant,
Oh, he's taking his hat off.
Crap.
when they crashed, I don't know if it was actually JP's fault that they crashed. They were both really close together. It could have been either way. It was an incident, whatever they crashed. But the whole like he's flying moment, I didn't like that either.
At the end?
I'm just
Oh,
gonna
that was
throw that out
cheesy.
there. Yeah.
At the end of
it was
him-
like he's flying. It's like
That was cheesy. I do like it though because there was a bit of the backstory behind it where he was kind of going through his own like mental stuff.
Yes, it connected to the start of the movie, which is always good in a movie that they connected it. But I just think it was stupid.
It was cheesy.
Yeah. One of the things too.
I kept thinking he was gonna wreck
Well, that was
during the
so
flying moment.
100%.
I was like, he's gonna wreck and die or something.
I thought they were going to play more into an injury because he didn't get out of the car during that red flag. Everybody else got out of the car and you could tell he was hurting.
yeah.
I thought they were going to
Well,
play.
his vision kept getting blurry.
Exactly. I thought they were going to play more into the injury and more into like how it was going. And then I thought that was going to take him out. The ending definitely surprised me. I will not lie. Granted, it is a Hollywood movie. It has to be something sort of dramatic or whatever at the end, but I didn't expect it to be that.
And then he
I
just
definitely
drives-
audibly gasped when that happened.
And he just drives to freaking
Just-
California or whatever. And
Yeah, it's a
that's
Baja.
Does a Baja race?
Yep,
yeah.
Baja race. He's like,
never
can't
been
afford to
about
pay
the
you.
money.
Yeah. What is it about, Smeltzy?
All right. I don't know.
Fade out.
Fade out.
All right.
Should I do that here?
All right. Likes. What did we like about the movie? I think there's plenty.
I can lead us off if that's okay.
Do it.
Whatever.
Yeah. All right. This is something I called out. I really enjoyed that they played into the dirty air kind of concept and how they're fighting against it. I think that actually might have been
That
like
was
a
cool,
problem that the drivers when they watch it, that might have been the problem they had with it because it was so unrealistic. But I liked that they brought that in because we know how big of an issue it is. Like in today's F1 races, dirty air is just it's like you can't overtake with it. It's really hard. So I like that they played into that being their strong point and them being more aggressive behind someone instead of taking fastest on straights and stuff like that. So that's kind of like the biggest thing I think I liked from it.
For sure. I'm just reading my notes. There's a
got
funny
you.
one here. Just says Gunther leaning back and staring
Oh
down.
my
the-
god!
was
I
amazing.
forgot
Yeah.
that
Well,
moment.
didn't he flip
Yeah.
him off at the end? Didn't Casper flip off
Yes.
Gunther at the very end of the movie?
Yeah.
I thought that was comedy. My wife even started dying. She's like, "Oh my!" He just flipped him off.
Just
Like,
the
yeah,
look on
yeah.
Gunther's face though just cracked me
Yeah.
up. I think he only did it twice where he'd lean back, but
Yeah.
it cracked me
Something
up.
that Gunther used to do all the time
Yeah,
at races
yeah.
too. He'd always like lean out the back and like look like what is this guy doing?
He's kind of mean mugging people
Yeah, yeah,
on the pit lane.
Banter.
I love how it was shot during real Grand Prix.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
that's just like, you can fake it all you want, but it was nice to have real teams, real team members walking
Yeah.
around.
It was great.
Cameos everywhere.
Yeah. Was it Roscoe?
Papa Stroll walking down the pit,
Roscoe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lewis's
So-
dog.
I got Roscoe in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he's in the credits. Fun fact. I thought it was kind of interesting too that like Brad Pitt did an interview and he was like, we only had 2 takes before the race began. We could not mess this up.
Yeah,
There was an
no,
interview. I think I
for
sent it to
sure.
you, Tyler, and I was just like, there was a lot of CGI, maybe some kind of funny chopping, editing things up, like the DRS bit you mentioned before. Probably wasn't from that part or whatever. Didn't fit in the movie in that aspect. But I think they had to really make it work with what they had. F1 race weekends are very, very time sensitive.
For sure,
I think
for
the
sure.
amount of production that went into this needs to be mentioned. Obviously, Lewis
100%.
Hamilton being the producer of it, he had probably the golden ticket to literally anything.
Yep.
But I think it's worth mentioning, just like they probably didn't have the ability to continuously redo over and over and over different takes and stuff like that.
No,
So
you're 100% right.
I think it's a good point.
No, for sure. What do you got? What did you like?
I liked a lot of the character building. I was not expecting to like the character building as much as I did. I really liked JP. Some of my favorite characters are characters who I hate at the start of a story and love at the end because they just grow so much, and that was JP. I really liked his character arc that he went through, how he started as this really cocky young gun, kind of reminiscent of Yuki in a way, of just like, I'm the big dog here and I'm going to make a big name for myself, and then got humbled and then very quickly started turning things around. I really liked that scene of him going through in the simulator, like constantly trying to take the same line, like I know I didn't mess up, and constantly getting humbled. Like that was so cool, and I love writing like that. So
Fair
that
enough.
was a cool part.
I don't know. I liked that this is just another Jerry Bruckheimer, situation, and I like a ridiculous amount of his movies, unfortunately. So, let's see. I like that it's kind of our first modern day F1 movie. We got Drive to Survive,
Yep.
and we've had other movies that have been released, but about older drivers. So it's kind of nice to see the modern again kind of being a gateway drug, hopefully to gain more popularity in the sport.
Well, to that point, is there an opportunity for a second movie?
Not with the same character. Unless maybe JP.
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? Because the whole ending of it was him being able to keep the team, and it's around for a few more years, right? Is there an opportunity for a second one? And opportunity, I think yes. Will it happen or should it happen?
Probably.
What would be the storyline?
That's a great question. I mean, a similar thing. You know, the young rookie is now a seasoned veteran. He's got a handful of seasons under his belt, and now he teaches some other punk. It's the typical rookie.
You pretty much set our pitch. Yeah. We were talking about it right after the movie.
We were talking about it as we walked out. That I actually would love to see another movie where Sonny Hayes comes back, but now he's too old to drive and he knows it, so he's going to take that opportunity as team principal.
Yeah.
He's going to take over Apex over JP, who JP already has that trust for him as a team manager, and then they'll have a new rookie who JP gets to be the one to teach him,
kind of mentor him
and
a little bit.
as opposed to our drama in this movie where all the drama was, we're trying to fight our way from the back to get our first ever win. This time we're a front running team.
We're trying to win a championship.
We won constructors last year, and we're trying to do it again this year.
We got to keep it up.
And instead of the drama being we're fighting the rest of the field, it would be the drivers fighting each other, and that would be our sense of drama in the movie is, teaching the newbie and like the drivers fighting each other, and your biggest competition is your teammate type thing. Something that we kind of already see happening in our current F1 season.
I think it has all the makings to be a really bad sequel, so I hope they don't make a second one.
Sounds great to me. I love Shrek 2.
Really? Hey, you're saying Shrek 2 is a bad movie? Excuse you? Come on, man.
I like Shrek 2. Actually.
I love all those Shrek movies.
I agree. I think they have the
door's open.
I think they definitely have they have the standing, or rather the structure to make a second one.
Yep.
I hope there's more F1 media, movies, entertainment in the future. I think a sequel of this would be bad, unfortunately.
Probably.
I think they just need to make something new.
Different storyline.
Maybe follow one of like the modern day drivers.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Like they have in the past with like Rush or Senna, stuff like that.
It's just gonna be Lewis Hamilton. He's gonna produce it.
It could be Lewis. I mean, they would be
biography.
I was just thinking about it. Lewis Hamilton would be really good. Max would unfortunately be very good.
Unfortunately,
I'm trying to think.
Well, fortunately, because he's his favorite driver.
This is true. His shirt's on underneath.
Speaking of things that we liked, I love that scene where Sonny was like holding up Max, and Max finally gets by, and as he goes, he like flips him the bird.
Yeah, that was classic.
God, that was so funny and so Max Verstappen.
Yeah,
I love it.
Because I think the commentators in the movie were even like, oh, and he gets a little bit from Max Verstappen, and that's to be expected or something like that. I liked how they used some real moments of F1 history in the movie, like the 2008-09, wherever it was, Renault team that kind of got caught.
Yeah.
Sabotaging the race or fixing a race, essentially, which is why Flavio was suspended indefinitely anyway, or lifetime ban is the words they used. And then the 2019 F3 crash of Alex Pirani, which is the car flying through the air.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that actually happened because I didn't know that, and I didn't believe that crash was that's not real, right? Yeah. This car's flying at Mach Jesus, right? So of course if it hits a pebble or something, or in this case was a bump, and the car flies like that. Well, that actually happened. It just didn't explode at the end of it like it did. So it's kind of like
Hollywood.
It was kind of like a mix between the Pirani crash and the Grosjean car split in half situation.
So that was, I know we were talking about this a little bit before we started recording. That the big fireball, I was like, whoa, okay, that's super Hollywood. Because the crash happening makes total sense. But the fireball, there's no way it should have ever ignited. Because the whole reason that Roman Grosjean's car started on fire and exploded like it did was because he hit a metal beam. It tore open his gas tank,
Right.
and because it was metal on metal, it was creating sparks, and some of those sparks got into the gas tank, and it ignited the gas tank. While we see JP hit trees.
And then it's sitting there for
which are
a
made
second.
of wood, which burns.
No,
Come on.
God,
Got him.
I'm an idiot.
Get him out.
Man, don't high five about that.
The door's over there.
The only other thing I had down was what I did like is the Hollywood
Citation.
dramatization.
Dramatization.
There's a T in there.
That's a big word. Anyway, you know what I mean.
Syllables.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about. It's a Saturday. You know what I mean.
Is it?
I like how they showed kind of the pressure of all the team members, you know, and how much pressure they're kind of under a little bit. They didn't play into it a lot, but there was moments like the lug nut girl.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Mechanic.
And then like even what's her name? The girl that gets with Brad Pitt,
Well,
like even her job, you know what I mean?
tech director?
Kate.
It's nice to see a little bit of the pressure that they are actually under in real life. Really, like any moment can ruin the race, you know. So I don't know. I kind of liked that a little bit.
For sure.
Giving them a little bit of love
Yeah.
that they probably never get. But other than that, great flick.
I thought it was
Great
good.
flick. I'm glad I saw it in a theater. You know, again, for sure.
I joked
wish
with
I
my
would have
wife.
saw it in the theater that you saw it in,
Dude,
Kev.
the screen
'Cause
next
the
is cool.
screen's going up the wall too.
Yeah, it was
would have
pretty cool.
been pretty immersive.
I was about to say good movie. I don't know if I'd watch it again, but I think I will watch it again to not get that experience, just because I want to see like how different it feels.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, when you buy it on Blu-ray, you're gonna see it at the house. It's just gonna be.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah,
so you're gonna
streaming
get that.
service. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I joked with my wife before we went to go see the movie. I'm like, do we just say screw it and wait a month for it to come out on Blu-ray or like Netflix or something, or do we go and actually see it in theaters? I'm like, well, so we were gonna do this. We did it. You know, we saw it in theater, but
for sure.
it was like. I kind of haven't seen a movie in theater in a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought it was kind of a cool experience, but also, like you said, the Screen X. Shout out to Marcus Theaters, but like Screen X is pretty cool.
No,
I think
I'm
it made it.
I'm gonna ask you, but
I think the Screen X made it a cool environment. I know the movie was filmed, I believe, for IMAX.
It was.
And shout out
Correct.
to you guys. You said the IMAX in Minnesota sucks, so I didn't go and find the IMAX at all. I just did the Screen X. So
Yeah.
It was
I thought
fine.
cool. I thought it was really cool.
in IMAX it was fine.
you saw it in the IMAX.
Yeah, it was fine.
These guys were saying the IMAX in the cities is
It's just
awful.
not real IMAX. That's it.
No, that's like
Did
the-
you go
Which
to?
I would agree.
IMAX Light.
Yeah, it's like
No, it's
yeah.
not real.
Yeah, I mean, like it
Unless I'm
originated from
watching it
Chicago, I
at
think.
like the Science Museum, it feels not real.
They
I think-
used to.
yeah.
That shut down some years ago.
I thought they brought it back.
Sad day.
But I do remember it shutting down. But anyway, we're gonna.
Anyway.
Don't get me started on anything because I'll just ramble. So you got the Rotten Tomatoes pulled up.
I'm kinda
'Cause
curious.
we got to give
I was
like an
gonna
out
say,
of
what's
10
the-
score for
I was
us.
just gonna ask
Out of
that.
10?
I was gonna,
Yep.
yeah. And I have this, so I'll go last. So I
Okay,
want
fair
your
enough.
guys'
All right.
opinions.
Okay.
We'll just go around the table then, Kev.
I'm thinking
Out of 10, like,
out
out
of
of
10,
10,
8.5 to 9, like 8.75. If we're going like cool, Dave.
Yeah, we
Portnoy
got to be
score.
exact here, buddy.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can't
how
go
many
9.
are there?
fine.
Like decimals to the rating, or is that a percentage?
It's a
Rotten
percentage.
Tomatoes is a
It's a
percentage.
Okay,
percentage.
give a percentage.
87.5.
Okay.
87 and a half.
I guess. Yeah, I guess
Kevin's like, gosh darn it, I'm gonna have decimal.
that does convert. It's Saturday. I don't have to do this math.
so
Thank
sorry.
you. Yes, thank you. No math, no spelling,
a percentage,
no saying big words.
A percentage. I'll give a 69%.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I think if we were giving it out of 10, I'd say probably around 7. So 69% is just fun.
Yeah, fair enough. That's
7
kind of
out of
right
10.
where I was at. I picked 73 actually. As
Okay.
soon as Kev said his. For reasons that we've already talked about. So it was good. It was good. Good Hollywood movie. I'm glad I paid the money for it. I'd watch it. I will watch it again when I own it on Blu-ray to add to my collection because it's a modern F1 movie and I want it to sit on my shelf in my little hangout area. You know what I mean?
Do you want to give your rating?
Yeah. So
and then-
my opinion would probably be somewhere between an 80 to 85%.
Wow.
I like it. I think it's good.
Yeah.
It is good.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's good. Rotten Tomatoes is saying currently
second day release.
Yes.
second day
Yeah,
release.
right, yeah.
The Tomato Meter. So this is for like reviewers. Gave it an 83%.
Okay.
Oh.
Nice.
And the Popcorn Meter. So for regular fans, 97%.
Pretty good.
80. I mean, 83
is a
is
lot,
pretty
really
high.
high.
too.
83 is pretty high,
Right out of
too.
the gate. you
Yeah.
know.
So being received pretty darn well. I'm pretty impressed. So,
Awesome.
I will say, I think that has to do with the production value that Lewis added to this movie.
yes. Oh, 100%.
Oh, 100%.
think it
I
doesn't
think
get-
he played a massive role.
I don't
mean,
think it gets anywhere near that. It's probably mid 50s if he isn't
Well,
in
in the
this.
video you sent me, I think they brought Lewis in before
Before Brad Pitt was
Brad
even,
Pitt even got
like
pitched it.
Yes.
Yeah.
The producers and the directors and whatnot brought Lewis Hamilton in, being like, if we're gonna make this, we need to do this right, and he is the way to do this right. Or obviously there's other people that could have been involved, but I think he expressed some interest in doing it, and obviously his involvement made it as seriously accurate as it was, but also gave him access.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah,
talks
for
and like those
sure.
interviews that I saw, like
sure.
the national anthem in the last race, right?
Yep.
They're at the race.
They're standing.
They're
with the
literally there.
drivers
Literally
during
recording
the
it
frickin-
during the anthem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, there's a lot of stuff that like had just a normal, regular Hollywood production studio reached out and said, "Hey, can we do this?" yeah, maybe they would have, but I think they opened the floodgates for the real ability to do this, and I think that score is reflective.
And when you
of
have
that.
a 7-time world champion, I mean,
they even said that too, which is
he
funny.
knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So no, I
For
thought
sure.
that definitely added. I did love that they had way more racing scenes than I thought there was going to be too.
Yeah.
I was a little worried that there'd be way too much, which I like tech spec stuff, but I figured there might be way too much of that. I think there was just enough racing scenes, if not more than I had anticipated, which I don't know, for me, helped me stay glued.
Keep you locked in.
Yeah,
locked in.
for sure. Good,
Again-
yeah, I was just a little worried about that, but yeah, no, they succeeded there.
The racing scenes were dope in Screen X. I'm not gonna lie, those are really cool.
Yeah, it
I
was
would
pretty
imagine.
Hey,
Yeah.
I got a little bit like not queasy, but I got a little bit a little uneasy when it was like the helmet
crashing.
cam.
Oh,
Yeah,
The helmet
that was
cam with
pretty
the Screen
cool.
X was like it was a really
So
cool shot.
Those cameras were filmed with Apple cameras. Did you know that?
Apple, what do you mean, like an iPhone?
They
Or
like essentially though. Yeah, it was almost similar cameras out of like the iPhone 15 or 16 or
Really?
whatever for the TV pod cams.
Oh yeah,
like
okay.
Apple. Those are Apple cameras.
I mean, the
found
camera
out.
technology today is not.
And those are
surprising.
F2 cars that they were racing, which was designed to
They are
carry
F2
the
cars.
camera.
Yeah. I will
equipment.
say the front on view of the car they look like F2 cars.
For sure.
I don't think anyone outside of
But
our
they
world
put
would know
they
that.
gave him a good
Yeah, like-
paint job, I think,
But
which
yeah,
kind of helped
it's a good
blend
paint job.
everything
And
in.
if you're looking at it from like a side view, or if you're looking at among other cars, it actually looks pretty much like a F1 car.
Yeah,
just
for
that
sure.
it looks so skinny when you're like
For sure.
on.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, that's an
I
F2
know.
car.
I noticed that right away too. I was like, boy, their body is so
Yeah.
skinny, or
Yeah,
their
it's-
nose is so skinny.
But again,
Yeah.
as a
I'll also say I think the pops that they
What was
gave
I gonna
like
say?
the exhaust definitely not like it happens in F1, but not as much as that.
Yeah.
that
Oh,
is
the little
that
flame
is
out the
also
back, you mean?
yeah that's also a quintessential F2 car too. They
Yeah.
do that a lot there. So I'm sure that maybe the car was doing that, and so they needed to add it everywhere because it was doing it so much.
just a blend. Yeah, sure. That would make
You gotta
sense.
try to make it either consistent or not.
or
I
just
think.
because it looks really cool, right? I mean,
I was gonna say, is it
It's-
more of a Hollywood thing?
yeah.
Like, oh, that's cool. The flames are on the back of the car.
Yeah,
Sure.
People will think it's going fast if it's got fire.
Yeah.
Ton of sparks, by the way. Obviously, the floor is hitting the ground.
But
Not
that'll-
tons of spark, but it
There's-
happens a lot.
on certain tracks. It happens a lot.
Happens a lot.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
happens a lot. Definitely, I think added in post.
Yeah.
Though,
What about
probably.
the fireworks exploding so low that the fireworks
Oh,
are
that's
coming
not even
across
close
the
to being.
I forgot to bring that up.
It's reminiscent. There was a race. I think it was the 24 Hours of Le Mans where they were doing pyrotechnics right next to the track, and they were like huge pyrotechnics, and the drivers were actually like, "That's so hot!" Like they could feel it from inside the car. So like, I doubt fireworks are gonna be that close, but it made for a really
looks-
good visual.
Oh man,
Oh, for
that
sure.
was cool. And then of course that was in the Screen X as well. So like that
Yeah.
was along the walls and like
Yeah.
that was super immersive. So like that was a really
Yeah,
cool
see, that's
like
cool. That's cool.
visual thing to it. So I liked it a lot. But I think it was a good movie.
I mean, yeah. I think we were trying to shoot for 30 minutes. If my eyes
We're at
deceive
48.
me, we're
We're
at
at
48.
48,
Yeah.
yeah.
So here we are. We're still here. But yeah, I mean that pretty much wraps our F1 movie review, our first movie review ever, potentially only one ever. But
we'll see if we get canceled after
that
this
was
one or not.
great. I mean, we got
We'll be back
people.
for F1 too.
We got people that liked our video game reviews. You know,
That's
our
true.
video game episode.
That's true. Yeah.
Watch us have somebody like, oh, we love the movies. You gotta do more movies. Like, great. Now we gotta
more
make a
guys.
new show.
Here we go again.
Great.
You know,
The cycle
but a
continues.
couple things I want our listeners to know about. July 15th ish, the boys are scheduled to start testing something cool. We'll just rip off.
Do
the
tell.
Band-Aid. It's time trials on F125 from our own homes, trying to put that together for you so we can get ready to actually race August 12th. I don't think we will be live, but so look for episodes to release a couple days after that. So that's just some exciting Fast Laps news coming up.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
We do have another episode coming up this coming Tuesday.
Yeah.
So, Kev, when is this episode going to release? If you take a
this-
shot in the dark,
this one here?
this one that we're doing right now,
Right tonight.
probably tonight.
Yeah.
All right,
Going up
yeah,
immediately,
awesome,
boys. Gotta be
awesome.
first to the feast. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. First to the feast. Here we are. Kev, thanks for jumping in with us today.
Kevin!
We've been wanting Kev Cam, Kev Mike. We're still going to get
Yeah.
that together.
Yep.
That's still going to happen.
Yeah.
But since you saw the movie, we appreciated your insight and your audio insight too.
It was a lot of fun.
You went to school for it, so it's
Yeah.
awesome to hear that from you, straight from the horse's mouth, if you will.
No, I love the movie. It was a good time. Thank you guys for letting me be on a part of this one. I don't want to just kind of take over by any means, but I appreciate you guys letting me jump on. UK Joe?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, he's just
I
staring at the
I just
camera.
lost it. I'm not staring at the camera. I'm staring at our screen here.
Okay.
Our huge
Okay.
screen. Yeah.
I'm nervous now.
I just
Joe's locked in.
yeah. I was in a different world for a second.
For sure.
Were you flying?
Were you flying? Yeah, that's what
Yeah, I was flying.
Come back down, Joe.
I was flying.
Come back.
Well, Joe, we'll see you on Tuesday, though, right?
I'll be here on Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I guess maybe. Mike, thanks for being here, of
Hello.
course.
Yeah,
know.
it was great. I'm glad we got to talk about this. This was fun.
I know. This was great. And I especially like it that we kind of had two of each, right? That Kevin and I saw it last night, so we've had time to do
The digestion.
random BS research. Like, again, I wouldn't have known that Luigi Fregoli or whatever was the oldest. He was the oldest winner in 1951 French
Luigi
GP or something like that. And then Joe and Mike literally walking out of the movie and driving straight here.
Granted, it's like 2 blocks away, so it wasn't that far to drive. But
Not to
tell them.
dox us or
Don't tell
anything.
Yeah, right now they all know where we are.
Great. With that, obviously, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe wherever you listen to the banter, whether that's YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, or iHeartRadio. And we will see you later this coming week for Fast Laps. Stay fast. Stay fast.
Not an outro. Thank you.
Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe. Tune in next time for more Banter with the Boys.